Yeah, this will be my only US conference for 2024, and the COVID really kind of changed things for me. Like many others, we had to come up with a new way of getting the information out to people. So I decided to go down the path of webinars, and so that's what I've been doing. But I've made an exception with JSIC because it is a really gifted, a unique group of people that appear and share their information. And Jean-Charles, Elena Denan, Tony Rodriguez, and others that have been part of these secret space programs or direct contact with extraterrestrial life. Of course, Jerry, I've known of Jerry for many years, going all the way back. I think around 2013 when he first started talking about his experience or his real background, and I was thrilled by that. And so I think GSIC is a way to kind of like people to get some of the best information that can be verified. I mean, that is unique. I think there's a lot of people, there's a lot of conferences out there where people come along and just tell great stories. And sure, I'm interested in stories, but I'm also interested in the evidence. And everyone here on this panel is very interested in the evidence as well, and they've been talking about that. And that's what makes GSIC fascinating and important for me, because you have, on the one hand, incredible experiences, face-to-face contact with extraterrestrials, interaction with secret space programs, but you also have evidence. You also have photographic evidence, videos. You have brainwave testing of participants who have gone through these programs. You have archival footage, and so everyone here that's spoken has talked a little bit about that. And as far as JP is concerned, people aren't really aware of this because they're so focused on the incredible information that he shared. But he has given me dozens of photographs and videos of the craft that he has been on or that he has interacted with, that going all the way back to 2017 at MacDill Air Force Base. So we've got dozens of those photos, and more recently he shared some photos of the Nordic crafts. So and that's kind of unique that JP has been on some of these Nordic craft, and on several occasions he's had his camera and he's described how when you're close to the craft, the camera doesn't work. But that doesn't stop you taking a photo of the craft as it leaves. And that's what he's done several times. So I don't know, JP, if you want to talk about that, the videos, the photos you've taken.
Sure, Doc. Like Dan Winters, there's different kind, like he was talking about, there's different kind of frequencies depending on how close you are and how far away you are from a ET craft. There's different vibrations that doesn't let you take the pictures. Now, maybe if I had one of those cameras that you could roll around with your hands and take a picture of it, I could probably, but I think that would be quite hard to be holding around. How big they are, those cameras that you roll around with, and you could take a picture in that particular way. But yeah, taking these pictures in MacDill, I think this was at 2017, 2016, around there, that I started taking pictures of the cigar-shaped ships that the Nordics were flying. And I was getting picked up by these personnel from MacDill Air Force Base. I wasn't in the military. And they picked me up and they took me inside the base, interrogated me and saying, hey, why you're taking these pictures? And then on the other hand, I was being told from other military personnel, hey, take these freaking pictures, take these pictures. So I was lost in the sauce sometimes because people were telling me not to take pictures, and other people, white hats, were saying, hey, take these pictures. These information needs to come out. And this happened during the same time when there was a hurricane and all that. And this actually went mainstream in the Tampa Bay Times. If you look, cigar-shaped UFO, Tampa Bay Times, that comes out. And a lot of people were talking about it in that time in the radio stations and all that, about these pictures that was taken about that Dr. Sala put on his exopolitics page. It was quite interesting, these pictures that came out. And I think in Orlando also, when I moved, I took a picture of a porthole UFO that was there, and that went mainstream, and a lot of people were saying that they saw the Nordics coming out from the porthole. You could clearly see their physical bodies and all that. And I actually talked to certain people about that particular UFO, and they had the yin and yang symbol on top of the UFO if you change the contrast of the picture. It had the David Wilcock actually told me that. David Wilcock told me about the yin and yang symbol that they found on top of this UFO that I was taking pictures of. And I think what Dan Winters and Dan Wills and Tony Rodriguez talking about vibration and frequency, these ships, they run on a different frequency, a different vibration that is sometimes hard to take these pictures. And I've been so close to these craft, but my phone does not work. It only works when it takes off, and they're like probably like a football field away, 100 yards up or 200 yards up, and that's when my phone starts rebooting. Yeah, my phone actually sometimes even turns off. I don't know if it has to do with the battery, or what the radiation that it gives out, but my phone actually turns off. So I have to like really fast turn on my phone, reboot it, and it turns on, point it up, and start taking pictures. Because your phone, any kind of electronics, it just turns off. Your car turns off. Any kind of electronics, it just turns off. And yeah, it's really, really interesting, Doc. Trying to take those pictures.
Yeah, just a note, JP, when we feed a 500,000 volts phase conjugate pump wave to our plasma, Therify.net, any electronics is messed up within a meter or two. You can't even get close. And so it does fit the story.
So it's like that in the military too. If you go on certain military bases, and you go certain parts in the military base, your phone does not work because of all these technologies that we have that is blocking the frequency or the vibration of the phone.
And maybe just a last thought. Tony told me the story that somebody wanted to lucid to remote view, but he's in this damn building with all the Wi-Fi and electrosmog, and hell no, goes out in the nature in the parking lot. Ooh, where's access to the radio working?
Yeah.
Longitudinal nodes.
So yeah, I think it depends on the area that you're in. Also, like if you're like in a wooded area where you don't have no light pollution or no radio frequency pollution, I think the pictures or your phone boots up faster to take these pictures of these Nordic beautiful ships and other ET ships that come and visit us. But I think the orbs, talking about taking pictures, the orbs are easier to take the pictures. Your phone does not turn off when these orbs show up. So these orbs, the energy is more concentrated and is more dense, and it's more concentrated on the smaller area. So
you know, JP, the orbs cannot exist in a metal building, but they can exist in nature. It's the area has to be charged permissive, high dielectric. So that tells you something about what intelligence, like ball lightning being telepathic and all this. So the orbs are a very good clue to plasma intelligence.
Yeah, it's a really interesting field to get into. Cool. And all that. Yeah.
Brilliant. JP, in terms of you being able to take a photograph of a ship once it's left your immediate kind of atmosphere, and the fact that the ships that are real have an ionization field or plasma field or an irritated field around them. So people go, oh my God, it's so blurry. They just cannot get a clear shot. So we know they are the real craft, the real off-planet craft, whereas the UFOs that we see are perfectly able to see them. They're largely military reverse engineered craft, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can probably see it, the the ship's size and the there's actually I think there's a video, Doc, that I remember I sent to you, that, and I think I do have it. So if I find it, I'll probably bring it to JASIC. I took a video of these Nordic beings, the clothes, and I can clearly, I ripped off one of the fabrics of these Nordic beings. And then I look at my hand and I'm taking the video. The Nordic being, he disappeared in the distance, and I look at my hand and the fabric turns into water. You can clearly see the fabric on my hands turning into water. And I have that video.
Wow.
And Doc, I think I know where I think I have that video in one of my boxes. I have to send it to you, to maybe we can probably release it in JASIC. So that's an interesting video that I think people would be like, holy crap, what? Because this video was taken with an old style type of phone. So there's no way to replicating it with digital or other ways to replicate it. So that's why I'm really happy with Gene Charles with his recordings, because I was telling him that the vibration of the recordings is different. And then he told me there's actually an alarm from back in the days of an alarm of what is it, a police, Gene Charles, that came out in one of these recordings. So that's really, really good information. Grabbing these videos or these pictures from the past that you have and bringing it to the public for them to understand that, yes, this did happen and it was a real experience.
Yeah, I remember that
know.
incident with the patch as you described it, and how you said you kind of ripped it off the Nordic, off the uniform, and I know you've also talked about these Nordics that you've encountered on the Air Force bases that actually have crew cuts. They don't have the long hair and they're wearing Air Force uniforms, but they have a distinctive patch. So I don't know if that's a safeguard for the patch that they have, that it's actually dissolves the way you described it. But yeah, I remember you told me, and you did show me that video, but I don't have a copy. But if you have it, then that's great. We could show it at GSIC.
Yeah, I think it's a type of technology they have on their uniforms that when it's ripped or it's taken away, it dissolves. It's quite interesting, the nanotechnology they have on the uniform. And it also reads their whole body, temperature of the body. It also regulates, I think it filters the air, but I think the air is that we really live in is really toxic, I guess. And I guess this kind of uniform helps them filter the way the air is in our atmosphere. It makes it more pure for them. So it's similar to when we filter water in our house and to drink. So they also filter the air that goes into their body. So that's quite interesting, that video.
Beautiful. Well, guys, I know that we can.
I don't know if that, I'm sorry, Danny, if that answered your question.
No, it does. It does. It's like everyone here, like Tony, Jerry, you, JP, and John Charles, and myself to an extent too, and I think Dan Willis, have all had physical interaction with physical ETs, not made up ones, but physical personnel on different levels, and interacted with real craft. And of course, most of you have been on physical craft and in space. And, so we could sit here for another 6 hours, which would be lovely. but we won't do that today because we've all done videos. We've all, you know, kind of tracked and recorded our information on our intel. This is a roundtable to introduce the beautiful people that will watch it, you know, and inspire them to come and be with us and play with us. Hear the latest information that you can't hear. It's uncensored at the conference. Meet these great people. We're going to be doing a female panel as well. I wanted to bring the boys first to you guys. I thought it'd be a fun way of doing it this year to let you have a chat and an introduction of what you're going to be talking about. Just want to tell people that when you get your tickets, you go to Galactic Spiritual Informers. That's it. galacticspiritualinformers.com. And when you get your ticket, if you buy 3 tickets minimum at the same time, you can buy 5 at the same time, 10 at the same time. But as long as you buy at least 3, you get a 15% discount. Once you've got your tickets, you then will get sent an email with your hotel group discounted rate on it. There are tickets available. There are plenty of hotel rooms available. We're doing a hotel buyout. It's going to be amazing. We're going to do Skywatch every night. There's a dinner and a disco on one of the nights. That is a separate ticket. It is so special. And every year the UFOs have come. Every year the craft have come. Every year we've had benevolent ETs in the audience. Every year we've had benevolent ETs speaking on stage. We now are bringing forward the technology that's been kept from us. It is such a beautiful, beautiful gathering. And we welcome you.
And Donnie, and also to note this, the people that speak Spanish also are welcome. The people that speak in Portuguese, welcome. Because I think Donnie, she's going to invest on translation machines, and also they can understand what's happening. And if you want me to translate real quick in Brazil, para todos em português, todo que fala em Brasil, ela vai ter muito tradução em JSIC. So é muito bom comprar as taquinhas. Yeah, I'm just translating real quick about JSIC. That, you know, it doesn't matter what language you speak. When you go to JSIC, you feel the presence of this beautiful love vibration of everybody in the same boat. Everybody's in the same arc. How can I put this? Like, it's a beautiful experience. It's not just the speaker. It's experience of being with your family. It's a beautiful love experience being with people that are like-minded. You know, I did went last year. I don't know if anybody noticed, but yeah, I did went to JSIC last year, and I felt so beautiful with people there. It was an amazing experience, and I think people would love it. And it's not only Spanish, English, everybody, Japanese. We had people from Japan last year there. That was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful seeing people from Japan there. You know, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, I pulled them on stage, the Japanese people, because this particular group, they're really big fans of Jean-Charles in particular, aren't they, Jean-Charles? Oh, you're being so sweet.
Yes. Sorry, I mute my microphone. Yes. Japanese love me too, and there is amazing Japan. And this year we came to Japan in November with Melanie and Elena too. So it will be amazing experience because I will start shooting my 6th movie, Starseed Revelation 3, Japan Connection, about my past life as Oshi and my meeting with the goddess of Mount Fuji. So it's amazing years for me and for all disclosure.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Brilliant. All right, guys. If you want to kind of go around and just say anything that you choose to the audience watching this, and then we'll bring this beautiful conversation to a close.
I would just like to say it's just so great to be with all my wonderful family there, and you know, my dear friends, and my notes about Jen Hanaredian. I did a site in honor of Marcel's original pioneering work, marcelvogel.org, if you want to look up some of the technical notes that we've been exchanging with Jen Hanaredian.
May I add something? I forget. You know, I'm my head blow every time we are gathering. I forgot to spoke about my new documentary. If you want to support my work, you can find my movie, my last movie, to GC Moyen, moyen.com/en, like English. It's a English version. But for the part in French about my tape I found, it's in French, but it's subtitled in English, in French, in the Spanish, in Portuguese, in Brazilian, in Italian, and in Spanish. Yes. So thank you to support myself. Thank you.
Perfect.
Are we going? I'll say something. I'll say a close. So my new book is out. It's available. You can find it on my website, tonyrodriguez.com. And there are links there to my Patreon and my remote viewing group. We meet every week, and it's for beginners all the way up to advanced, and we do remote viewing, and it's a blast. So anybody that's interested can go through there, and you can find it all through my website, tonyrodriguez.com. And there's a lot of things in the works. This is a big year for everybody, and I'm extremely honored to be here and participate in the third GSIC. Danny, thank you so much for having me back. It's an honor, and the vibe there is just so loving. It's just across the board, so I can't wait to get back. It's a family atmosphere. Feels like home. So I'm very, very enthusiastic. I can't wait to go back to Denver, which is a fun town too. So it's gonna be a great time. So thanks, and I'm honored to be here with you guys. I look up to all the people on this panel. Really, it's like you guys are my heroes. You put out the content that I choose to watch. So I don't really stick with the mainstream stuff as much. So thanks. Before I blabber too much, thank you for having me.
Beautiful.
I'd love to follow Tony because he's my hero, actually. But, as Tony is saying here, is that you don't need to be an experiencer to be empowered, as Tony's saying. Everybody can remote view. And the thing that's fun for me is that the pure principle of how these things work, understanding the wave mechanics, how the waves form a pattern, and suddenly in the implosion center of that pattern, there's an array, and you can look into there, embed in it, and get leverage and steer things around, steer tornadoes. It all starts with the self-empowering pure principles that you can visualize for yourself. And so that's my little passion here, is that, like Jean-Charles, amazing experiences. But now if we look at what happened to Jean-Charles and see how he did it and how it works, how the doorway, it's not just teleporting, but it starts with lucid dreaming, actually, and then it becomes remote viewing, and then it becomes clairvoyance. But it's all the same principle, is that you get to that still center point inside. There's that focus, you get leverage. It's the light that forms at the center of implosion, and you're connecting with the nodes of an array. And the idea of going to the next dimension is just that the more you implode, the more the harmonic cascade is harmonic inclusive. And that means the rotations begin to superpose from X, Y, and Z, and then the next axis of rotation until it's a very big orbit. So you're inhabiting a bigger array, the more still and leverage you get, literally a bigger Stargate. Point is, all these things are available to you in a self-empowered way. Learn the principles. And those principles have to do with access to bliss process and the hygiene, the spiritual diet, the meditation, learning not to live in electrosmog and negative environments. So you get to these still points in nature and you have access. I mean, we proved telepathy is available when you're in bliss in nature, and it ain't available in metal buildings in ugly cities with electrosmog. What's the physics? So I think it's fun that we see these amazing phenomena. Now we learn the principle and we become empowered. I'm happy to share with you, Donnie, at this amazing event, and thank you for inviting me, because I think this is a great place to become a shareable wave.
Brilliant. Jerry.
Well, I just want to acknowledge that everyone on this panel has played a critical role in helping people become aware of the big picture, the truth of what is happening around the world. And I know that we're at a turning point, a tipping point for the entire planet, where the collective consciousness is getting very, very close to accepting this information as real. And I think everyone on this panel, all the work that they've been doing for decades now, is going to get a lot of attention. And so I'm just kind of like honored to have been working with all of these fine people here on this panel for many years now. And as Dan said, Dan Willis, it was him and 20 other blokes that in 2001 initially inspired me to go down this path. And so I'm very grateful for Dan's effort and everyone's effort in this panel. So I'm looking forward to GSIC 2024. It'll be my third one, and it is going to be a family gathering reunion that it's going to be wonderful to be a part of that again. So thank you, Danny, for the awesome work that you've done in putting it all together. I mean, I've organized conferences. I know what it's like. It's a thankless task a lot of the time, but you've done it with great grace and cheer and all those wonderful qualities that you have. So it's an honor to be working with you as well.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that.
I just want to say I love all of you. I love everybody here and around the world. Akuria mate. Akuria mate. Akuria mate. Thank you for everything that you guys are doing, bringing the truth out. And I believe soon there's going to be a lot more people, and we have to support them as well and give them strength to bring this information out. Thank you, Donnie, for everything that you're doing. And JSIC is a beautiful experience. Love it. And I can't wait to be there and be by your side, protecting you and protecting everybody that's here. Akuria mate, I love you. And if you want more information of how my story started, go to exopolitics.com. And Dr. Sala has everything written down of my experience. I really appreciate you, Doc, for everything that you do.
Exopolitics.org.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. .org. Forget .com. .org. So, yeah, Akuria mate. That's all I say. I love you guys.
Yes, 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 yes. Like you say, my friends, I want to add something very important. You know, Danny, I call you angel, and it's not just a word. You are really an angel. You look like an angel, and you have the bright of angel. For the disclosure, for your work you do, for the sacrifice you do, for the stress, for everything, the risk, you are amazing person. You are, you know what I mean. I don't want to cry again because I'm very emotive, like I say every time. Sorry, I'm like this. I never change. But Danny, you are a goddess. You are bright, and thank you for everything you do for all of us, for people, for the disclosure in the world, and never change. You are amazing, my friend. Thank you.
Making me blush. Thank you, darling. I appreciate your words. Jerry Wells. You're muted. Can't hear you.
There we go. Sorry, I had it on mute like everyone else does. Yeah, in closing, I just I'm sitting back listening to everyone and what they have to say. What a lot of folks know about me is also that I'm a healer. And, you know, listening to Dan Willis and Dan Winter talk about propagation of fields and so forth, these are things that I have heard before. And these these people that have mentioned these things to me got me keenly interested in Euclidean geometry and physics and so forth. And these are the people who taught me when I was quite young. They were extraterrestrials. So I know, listening to what you've had to say, that you are so spot on. It's absolutely fascinating to me to hear this and not hear it from, you know, from my memories from those times with the extraterrestrials when I was talking and learning from them. As a healer, these collapsing fields, these longitudinal waves, these are the things that I use. I was taught to use it this way. and used and described in these terms, but I never use these terms because most people would never understand it. But when I affect manifestation and change within another person as a healer, this is precisely what's happening. So I'm really just keenly interested, of course, to check out your presentations. And I'm sure anyone with a brain is going to be wanting to sit back, grab the popcorn, and just absorb everything you have to say. As far as the healer part goes, maybe a shameless plug. I didn't write a book. I don't have a book. But the news director for Fox TV, after 11 years of investigating me, he wrote a book. It's called Healer, the Jerry Wills Story. So if folks are interested to find out more about me, I suppose that's a way of doing it. There's also jerrywills.com. And then, of course, my flagship site, jerrywillsshow.com. I am so grateful. It's such a privilege to be invited to speak among such brilliant people. It really is a privilege. And I look forward to being in your presence, in body, in person, to just meet you, to shake your hand. And of course, for all those who are coming worldwide, and I've heard from folks from different parts of the world who plan on coming, having a chance to meet them as well. Danny, thank you so much for this opportunity. Without you, this would not have occurred. And this terrific level of evolutionary information that can take us to another place altogether simply by absorbing the information and increasing our own knowledge. This wouldn't be possible without you. And of course, those who are in attendance as speakers, it would be possible without you either. So I'm very grateful for you, Danny, and for you folks who are here with me on this screen right now. Thank you so much for your presence. And Danny, thank you for inviting me to be a speaker. I'm just humbled by that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. And I'm humbled that you said yes, and so grateful. And I'm humbled to each and every one of you, because all of you have that same beautiful, loving passion for humanity as I do. And we all want to help see our brothers and our sisters rise. And we want to share the secrets of our own experiences so they're less afraid and they're more open to, the true facts of the universe, the solar system, and beyond. Thank you, guys. To you beautifuls out there, just want to make sure everybody actually on screen did have a chance to say goodbye and final words. Yes, did everybody say something? Yeah, everyone's good. Dan's good, Dan Willis. Okay, great. So to the audience, again, I love the word braggadocious. I don't use it that often, but I'm going to use it right now because I know that you'll be so delighted to have had the chance to sit and listen and absorb, and to have JP with us too, which is another world first. But all these men have never come together. This is a world first that we, hope that you enjoy. And also those of you that can join us, just go to the website. It's just galacticspiritualinformers.com. galacticspiritualinformers.com. Everything is there. My name is Danny Henderson. I send you love from my heart to yours, and we will see you soon.